Simple roasted vegetables with olive oil and topped with... Ow! There's the cheese I need. Sometimes I forget how bloody expensive cheese is. I just spent $11 on 8 ounces of cheese. It better be good. Okay, so I don't have a cool accent, but let's just get on with this recipe. So we pulled these potatoes last week from our garden, so we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give them a rinse here. Definitely scrub off any of that extra dirt. Give your potatoes a nice rinse, even if you bought them at the grocery store. Just make sure they're nice and clean because you want to keep those skins on because those are delicious. We're gonna go ahead and slice these kind of like coins. They're gonna be big coins, but that's the best texture if you want to cook these all fairly evenly. That's going to be your ticket. So we're going to go ahead and slice these, and we're going to add them to a pot of boiling water that's on the stovetop right now. We've already brought it up to a boil. We're going to slide these potatoes right in, and we're just going to cook them until they're about al dente, like a noodle, right? Just tender to bite. Then we're going to just get on with some of our other chopping while these are cooking. So we're going to move on to the zucchini. So we're going to add zucchini to this. And we're going to slice these just the same as the potatoes. We're going to do them kind of coin style, about a 1/4 inch thick or so. That's up to you, give or take. And we're going to do about equivalent amounts of zucchini as well as the potato. So you can kind of do this however you want. I ended up using 2 large potatoes and almost 1 full medium-sized zucchini for this. Go ahead and put the zucchini in a bowl. Then we're going to move on to the tomatoes. So I have 2 different kinds of tomatoes here. I have a few San Marzanos and a couple of the Romas. Aren't those gorgeous? Let's just take a moment and admire those. How juicy and delicious. These also came straight from our garden. So I'm going to chop up a couple of these and we're going to add that into our bowl. And then we are also going to slice up some, and that we're going to use those to top right before we put it in the oven. We're going to put those slices right on top of these vegetables. So we're going to put the juicy, diced up ones in the bowl with the zucchini. And then we're actually just going to add in our potatoes because those are ready to go. So we're going to use a slotted spoon and just go ahead, make sure you're not getting a ton of water in there, but scoop them into your bowl. We're going to use half a red onion. Now again, you can do this to your taste and your liking. If you want more red onion, go for it. Here's a little tip for you. Once you peel off that outer layer, keep the root end attached and go ahead and make your little slices. Onions are already like pre-layered for you. So we're just going to do some slices that are against the grain, I guess, or against like where the root end is. And then you get these perfect little slices when you cut off the root end. I mean, easy peasy, right? Now go ahead and add those to your bowl. And then we are actually going to give this a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. The original recipe does call for oregano. I didn't have any oregano, so I used some dried rosemary that I had from last year's garden. And anytime you're using dried herbs, make sure you rub it between your hands to kind of wake it up a little bit. So I have salt, pepper, and dried rosemary here. I do remember I forgot to put the sliced garlic in here, so definitely put the garlic in yours when you make it. Drizzle it with olive oil, or you can measure it out. The original recipe does say a 1/4 cup of olive oil. Toss it all to coat, and then we're going to put it in a 13 by 9 inch baking dish. I have a glass dish here. Whatever you have is just fine. You really don't want your potatoes to start falling apart, but I got a little rough with mine. But if you can keep them whole, that's great. Kind of arrange them so they're spread out a little bit. If you can kind of get it evenly layered, however you want to spread it out. But then you're going to top it with these tomatoes. And this is going to really complete the dish and make it really nice and juicy. Drizzle it with a little bit more olive oil, a little bit more salt and pepper so those tomatoes get some of that seasoning as well. Then we're going to pop it in a 475-degree oven for about 30 minutes. Okay, and here's the moment of truth. This is a beauty, and ignore the dirty oven. Yeah, look at the color on this. It is going to be so delightful. Now, remember that cheese from the beginning that I ran to the store for? That is a Greek feta. Now, what really makes this dish complete is this feta, so I highly recommend getting a block of feta, crumbling it over the top. Allow it to cool a little bit before you put it on, and crumble it over, add some torn basil, and you have a delicious Greek roasted vegetable dish that you can add to any delightful meal as a side or as a main. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Now go get cooking.